If in your focused life, your physical body is feeling sick, there is a proportionate wellness that is queuing up, coming into focus at the same time. These words, coming into focus, are the words that we most want you to pay attention to as we're moving forward, because this means every time as you're moving through life and exploring and identifying things that could be better, even though you may still be focused upon the problem of what's going wrong, there is a solution that is coming into focus too. A solution that, while you don't have access to it while you're focused on the problem, and while you shouldn't have access to it while you're focused on the problem, because step one is an important part of the 3-step equation for creation. Step one is asking, and it requires some poking around in some problematic places in order for the question to occur. In other words, there is a question and an answer, and they are different vibrational frequencies, but they are the byproduct of your exposure to life experience. Can you hear that? When your question comes into focus, so does your answer. And when your problem comes into focus, so does your solution. When your illness comes into focus, so does your wellness. And when your lack of whatever you want comes into focus, so does the abundance of it come into focus. But the question is, where is your vibration? Are you in a place where you can let the solution, the abundance, the wellness, the clarity, the stamina, the vitality, can you right here, right now, let it come into focus? And the answer to that question is, you could if you were not beating the drum of the problem to death. We're here in what we are calling this law of attraction based universe and a law of attraction based workshop, pointing it in the direction of the art of allowing, which is what step 3 of this 3-step process is. For you, most of you, out here on this leading edge, this fantastic leading edge of creation, you like manifestations. You're hooked on seeing stuff and smelling stuff and hearing stuff and tasting it and feeling it. You like this tactile, leading edge, creative environment that we are all a part of, that you are fantastically immersed in. You like this manifestation stuff. And while you didn't come necessarily for the manifestation, it is necessary to be involved in this leading edge manifesting world in order to really, really, really keep up to speed with who life has caused you to become. But we want to wrap this whole picture together in a way that you will finally get it, that you have come forth not to fix a broken world, but to be a catalyst for its never-ending eternal expansion. And then we say, but you don't need to be focused upon the expansion, because the expansion is going to be a byproduct of your exposure to life. So then you might ask, we like it when you do, well, if I've come forth with great purpose, and my great purpose is not expansion, because expansion's going to come whether I know that it's coming or not. I'm just going to blunder into expansion because contrast is just going to suck expansion through me. Then tell me again, why am I important to this mix? And we say, because you wanted the thrill of you getting to focus. You wanted the thrill of you getting to define the details of the expansion. And because you wanted to feel the exhilaration of focusing in a way that the energy that creates worlds flows through you. In other words, you came for the joy of it. You came for the thrill of it. That's what we're all in this eternal experience for. Now, there's some very good news that most humans are not very keenly aware of or focused upon or tuned into. And that is that in every moment that you are experiencing life, you are causing an expansion, and the larger part of you is expanding. In other words, you cannot look for a moment at something unwanted without an equivalent desire emanating from you in a vibrational pattern. And as it emanates from you, the larger part of you, who is vibration, complete vibration, receives the information of request and gives undivided attention then to the prosperity that you are asking for, or to the improved bodily conditions that you ask for. Let's take it to a place that you can understand even a little more clearly. This is true of every consciousness. And your body is made up of trillions of cells who are made up of consciousness. So maybe you ingest something, maybe you're exposed to something, maybe it's a bacteria, maybe it's a fungus, maybe it's what you would call a germ, maybe it's what you would call a disease, maybe it's what you would call a substance that your body is not good at acclimating to, maybe you ate something disagreeable, couldn't tell by reading the label because none of that makes sense anymore. You ingested something that your body was not accustomed to and didn't really want, and so some cells in your body immediately got out of whack. You know what it's like to take a negative hit? So some cells in your body got a little out of whack, but in the moment of their perception of imbalance, they ask for balance in that moment. Trillions of consciousness within your body asking for improvement in the moment of awareness that something got a little off. And in the moment that this happened, whether it's a one-celled organism or many cells in communication in your body, when that cellular request happened, in other words, your cells took the bounce, know what they don't want, know what they do want. In the moment that that request is set forth, the non-physical part of you, the energy that creates worlds, begins flowing in response to that request, and an immediate balance occurs. Immediate, instant manifestation. This is happening in your body all day long, every day. You don't even know how well this factory, this vibrationally based consciousness factory called your physical cellular body, is coming into balance all day, all day, all day, all day, all day, all day. But then let's say you got something you're mad about or worried about or pushing about. So you've been in this sort of problematic mode for a while where you're really poking around at the problem, even though solutions are framing up for you and happening. And as you, as the captain of this cellular ship, are focused in this negative way where the predominant emotion within you is one of worry or anger, you cause a vibrational resistance in the communication of this vibrational body that is yours. And even though your cells know exactly what they want and need and are asking from a place that they can be answered exactly, you're in the way. And we call that resistance. We call it resistance, and you know when you're doing it because negative emotion is present. So, we're eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you.
Abraham, firstly, thank you for everything. Sometimes when I'm at home, I can envision or be in the vortex about whatever subject, about the relationship, the money, the lawsuit, whatever has come up. But at the moment when confronted with the person that you'd like to go on a date with, the letter from the attorney, the decision about the stocks, whatever, I'm then snapped back to being out of the vortex.
We will agree that if you're tentatively in your vortex, that almost anything can snap you out of it. But if you got in and you got in on purpose and you milked it and you proclaimed that you were there and you acknowledged how it is you got there and why it is you were able to stay there, you won't easily be pulled out of it. And when you are pulled out of it, you'll know how to get right back in. So if you spend more time in the vortex, it is very unusual when you get pulled out. If you spend more time out of the vortex, it's very unusual when you're able to get in. So it's just a matter of how much time. And there are a lot of people who claim vortex dumb more than they really should. Because it's not about the smile on your face, and it's not about even the words that you're speaking. It's about the song in your heart. It's about the glee in your being. It's about the vitality that you feel. It's about the enthusiasm for life, you see. And if once you tune yourself to the frequency of the vortex and get hooked on it, we want you to get hooked on your vortex, hooked on it. We want you to be addicted to the vortex, addicted to it to the degree that it's just so off when you're not in. You see, the world as it exists, where you go to work and you watch people driving in their cars and they don't look all that happy about their cars, and they're listening to stuff, but they don't look that interested in what they're listening, and they go to work and they're not that much interested in work, and they can't wait to go home, but they're not much interested in going home. And then somebody says, let's go to a ball game, and they have a moment of glee. Woo! Drunk, and their team won. But in comparison with how much was going on in their life, it was just a little bit of time in the vortex, and most of the time not even trying to be in the vortex. You get what we're talking about? So when someone says, I struggle to get in and I have a hard time staying in, and it's only because you have not practiced it enough that the in the vortex vibration dominates. But when it does, there will be a tipping point on the fulcrum of your life where things that you've been waiting for what felt like a very long time will come, and they will come so easily you will laugh at the absurdity of your having held them away so long. In other words, the work, this is where it's at. It's getting into the vortex where everything that you are and everything you want is. But you just gotta figure out on your own how to get in and then how to stay in. Don't ask someone else. There is a tendency as humans to want to find something that makes you feel good when you see it. But then you become those who just look around for good things, and when you don't find them, then you're all bummed out and out of control. So we are really not very often wanting to be very cooperative in providing for someone a thought that just makes them feel good when they listen to us. We so much would rather that you conjure it, that you find it, that you carve it out, that you own it, that you practice the vibration of it, that you practice the vibration of it until it is yours, until it is who you are, until it is your proclivity, until it is your nature, until it is just who you are, until you are just optimistic, until you are just sure of yourself, until you are just expectant of good things to come. And once you've trained yourself just even slightly in the direction of that, avalanches of well-being will come to shore up your awareness that you are indeed on your path. And the leverage is the power of the universe that you have taken the time to line up with in order to allow the universe to do all the work of assembling all of the cooperative components. Effort that is offered in action by most people is the effort of trying to make things cooperate, make things line up. But when you take the time, and it's very little time comparatively speaking, to get into the vortex, what happens is law of attraction does all the work, just like gravity holds you on your chair. And as law of attraction has already assembled the cooperative components, and now because you're in the vortex, you have become a cooperative component. Now what happens is you feel wonderful. You're glad to be alive. Your day unfolds perfectly. You have activated and engaged the energy that creates worlds and are flowing it through your experience. And that's what every one of you intended to do. Now we want to go back to something that we said at the very beginning of this day. Friends, that's who you are. That's what's in your vortex. Anything less than that is gonna bum you out. That's the way you're supposed to feel. That's the way life is supposed to go for you. And anything less than that is off the path of who you are, you see.
I think for many years I was a creator through a great deal of effort, and so that becomes a habit. When I see what I want, I created a great deal in my life through effort outside the vortex, and it was a lot of work and not very fun. And a few years ago, after finding your teachings and other things, I came to realize that inside the vortex, allowing things to happen and just being happy is easier, and is, as you've said,
so
by far the way to go.
Let's leave this gathering here with this very important acknowledgement that you've brought us all around to. Let's proclaim that the effort worth offering, the undivided effort, the singular effort, the effort that matters is what? The effort of getting into the vortex, the effort of alignment, the effort of feeling good, the effort of ease, the effort of the vortex. Today, no matter where I'm going, no matter what I'm doing, it is my dominant intent to look for what I'm wanting to see. I'm going to distract myself from things that trouble me. I'm going to pamper myself into alignment. I'm going to soothe myself into alignment. I'm going to love myself into alignment. I'm going to treat myself so good it's going to be impossible for me not to be in the vortex. And then I will uplift the world.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Abraham.